just mentioned then about a bit of a change that went through in your life. You were talking earlier on about having seen young people change. One of the fascinating things that I was reading back through over some of the stuff is that not that many years ago, you were marching with Brian Tamaki's black-shirted Enough is Enough parade, and then a few years later you're writing that Jesus would make cakes for gay people. Now, that's a fair shift and change. Story, please.
Do we have time? Like I said, I grew up in a faith context which was fairly conservative, right? Yet one of the, and there's good things and challenging things with that, but one of the things that my faith tradition gave me was this idea of love, right? This radical nature of love. And as I followed that journey, as I followed the story of this, man, Jesus, who radically loved people, and was revolutionary in the way that he did that led me to, I guess, an understanding of love that was all inclusive, that had arms wide enough to embrace all people, regardless of what they looked like or who they were or who they loved. It was pretty transformational.
Okay, and that's a very clear message that comes through in some of the stuff you write about the inclusiveness, the wide open door of love there that doesn't judge people. Does it therefore disturb you that the most conservative and exclusive bunch are sometimes the community that you were once considered your tribe, and probably still do consider your tribe, the conservative evangelical Christians, who have the most trouble accepting people of alternative sexual orientation or different attitudes to marriage, or a whole host of things? Does that worry you? And how do we get through this?
Yeah, I think it saddens me, right? When I look at my faith tradition, at least, I see a tradition that is deep and has the strong tradition of liberation and justice. And then the real core of our faith, of the Christian faith, is this radical idea that the divine became human, that the divine became small, became a child in order to love the world, in order to free us, to liberate us. And I think somewhere along the way we've got a bit distracted with all the theology and the details of all of that, and we forget actually the core of our faith is to love God and love others, and we do that by loving other people.
Now, that would have been a key message you got throughout your growing up.
Yeah.
What actually precipitated the change of how this how this actually works? Was it actually as you're doing your work with young people? Or
I think it was that combination. So I studied theology while I was also serving young people in really complex situations, and young people who are going through immense suffering. And so you're wrestling with these ideas of faith and theology and suffering, and then you're sitting down with a child who's homeless and whose dad's in prison and who was just abused last night, And so when you start to face the reality of people's lives, it starts to shift the way that you're able to engage and think through those things.